Hi guys, and welcome back to Real Talk Fitness with ANPT. Today's episode is special. We're catching back up with Bec Miller, who recently achieved the goal she set out 18 months ago to lose 42 kilos and go scuba diving. We've spoken before on Real Talk Fitness with ANPT with Bec about her journey, but today we're talking about what comes next, what it actually feels like to reach a goal you once thought was impossible, and how to keep your mindset strong once that big moment is over. So in today, we'll go into the dive, what the moment felt like, and how to reset yourself and refocus. So today we welcome back Bec. How are you, Bec?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Ash.
That's good. So take us back to the dive, girlfriend. What did that moment feel like for you?
So it was the best day, everything I thought it was going to be, plus more. I can't even describe what the day was like. And that morning, I was like a kid on Christmas Day, literally.
Yes, you were. And I was shitting my pants. When you think about where you were 18 months ago, what emotions came up when you were actually under the water? Like we were actually physically doing something you set out to achieve.
So I must admit, I wasn't even under the water yet, just putting the equipment on and thinking to myself, I've done it. I finally made it. Everything I work for is here. And that moment, it was so real in the moment.
Yeah, which is awesome. Was there a sense of pride, peace, or like even a bit of disbelief that, it was actually happening?
Probably all three in a way, to be honest. But to actually say, yep, I've achieved what I set out to do 18 months ago. I haven't taken a backward step, and feeling beyond proud of the journey I've created for myself.
Yeah, which is, and we spoke about that in your first episode, I guess, as you said, do it for yourself, which is amazing. And I think, what did it mean to prove to yourself that you could actually do it? Because that's a huge one, right? It's like we all say things sometimes, and I know a lot of people set promises to themselves and constantly let themselves down. But what did it mean to prove to yourself that you could actually do it?
So basically, stop doubting myself. So this goal showed to me that if I set my mind to something, I'll succeed, and I'll end up getting there if I put my mind to it.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess, this journey was all about you. So this wasn't about anybody else. And, there was times I know myself where over the last 18 months where you wanted to throw the towel in and you didn't. So the fact that you've realized that, I feel, has only just made this whole journey a whole new level.
Yeah, for sure.
So many people reach a big goal and then feel a bit lost. Have you experienced that now we've actually achieved that first milestone and ticked it off? Like, how do you feel? Do you feel lost? Do you feel like, yep, that's done, I'm done?
Yeah, for sure. So a couple of weeks before scuba diving actually come about, I reached out to Ash saying, after scuba diving, I don't actually have any other goals to go. Can you help me? Where do I go from here? Like, what should I set myself? Can you help me with this?
Yeah. And what did you find? Like, I do remember and recall that email and sort of saying to you, okay, well, let's focus on, and we spoke about that in our last episode. High rocks was obviously on the cards.
Yeah.
And, that's obviously, again, another, well, not 18 months away, but that's, like just under 12 months away.
Yeah. Getting under that 100 kilo mark.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I guess
I reached a goal today that I'm the smallest I've ever been.
Yeah,
as well,
which is amazing. Like it just goes to show too, like, because I guess for anybody listening, I think the biggest thing, right, is that when you set yourself out to achieve something and you achieve it, that feeling of going, okay, well, what's next? You could get so caught up in that and just revert back to old habits. Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure. Easy.
Yeah. So like, what made you kind of reach out, I guess, to me and email me when, it was getting closer to then prevent that? Because I feel like that's something that obviously has helped you gain momentum. What made that happen?
Feeling like I didn't have anything else, like other than like the biggest focus was on scuba diving. Like I didn't have anything else to go for. So now I've just set myself little smaller milestones regarding strength and fitness goals now. They don't have to be adventurous activities. like just little small mindset things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you handle that what now? Like, even though after we got through that email and I sort of said to you, okay, well, let's focus on this one. And then, obviously getting under that 100 kilo mark is going to make, running a lot better. And I think I even said that in the email is that, you don't run to lose weight, you lose weight to run. So every kilo, the faster you're going to get anyway for high rocks.
Yeah.
But how did you handle that what now?
So still actually being able to show up, but setting little small goals regarding different gym targets. I don't need to be huge adventurous activities, and then even setting parkrun goals as well, not just in the gym, outside the gym as well.
Yeah. Which is perfect, right? Because I feel like this is where a lot of people come unstuck. And I feel like that's why I wanted to bring you back onto the podcast to talk about that what now. You've got the opposite side where people will set a goal and constantly move that goalpost. And then you have, our situation where you set that and you met that, and it's, can be absolutely amazing, but it can also be completely, once that feeling of going, fuck yeah, I did it, like is emptiness. Gone. Yeah, emptiness. Yeah. So what have you learned about your identity? Not just being someone chasing a goal, but someone like living it. Like, this is now you. Like, what did you learn about yourself?
That I'm now a completely different person. I'd say inside and out and mentally now, so much clearer in my thoughts and a desire to succeed. But the moment that stood out to me was even before entering the water, actually standing up with the equipment on thinking, shit, this is so heavy. But then remembering I actually used to carry this amount of weight every single day.
Yeah.
Like how heavy the equipment was, and I used to carry it every day.
And and some.
And plus more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's crazy. And then I actually remember that, Sandy. We both go, fuck, this is heavy.
Yeah.
And how's your mindset now compared to when you first ever started? So the first, Bec, that, I know you were hesitant to set that goal then, but how's your mindset now? Like, even setting these little goals, like, how is your mindset towards goal setting and achieving them and riding the waves that come along?
So it's so much more positive, I'd say, clearer now. But even if I have a shit week, not being a negative Nancy about it, just thinking, how can I fix this and get back on track? Like with food, whether it's food or exercise, just showing up, being here for myself and being around people, basically.
Yeah. So it's no longer like, yep, I've had a shit week, that's it, it's all ruined. It's like, okay, well, why was my week shit?
Yeah. What can I do to fix it?
Yeah, basically. Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people need to hear that, right? Because this journey, even now, like, as I said, like, the title of today's episode is Beyond the Goal. Like, what happens after you win is that you keep growing, you keep getting stronger. You are never the same person, even when we're going to be speaking in, 18 months time, 2 years time, you're not going to be the same person that even went scuba diving, right? Yeah. You're going to get stronger as long as, the setbacks aren't setbacks unless you think they are.
Yeah, that's right.
How are you continuing to grow without constantly moving the goalpost? Because that's a big one. Now that you know that you can achieve it, how are you going to continue to grow without keep moving that goalpost further away?
So I've now realised that I don't need to set massive goals to feel like I'm being successful in this journey. Just showing up is the biggest moving goalpost for me. Even losing weight, losing inches, like, it doesn't have to be a goal. It can be other things as well.
Yeah. It's just little things to build that momentum.
Yeah.
Even weekly goals, like getting back to what you said before, like, if the week doesn't go to plan, like, how can you fix that?
Yeah.
Setting that as a little goal, and now you have that belief in yourself that when you set yourself something, you're going to achieve it.
Yeah.
Obviously doing that with a huge one, not just a small one, you can now see the benefit of doing the little ones over time.
Yeah.
What's helping you stay inspired? So obviously our podcast has helped a lot of people in starting their own journey. And I think this podcast is going to help a lot of people realize that when you hit your goal, it doesn't just end there. This journey is deeper than just hitting goals. But what's helped you stay inspired?
So I have now set some new goals that I've set for, but the main thing for me is people actually reaching out to me saying how much my journey has inspired them, and actually being noticed for this. People reaching out, I've listened to your podcast, I've seen you in the gym, like, you're doing amazing. But definitely enjoying life now and how far I've come in this last 18-month journey. where I was 18 months ago is completely different, and I'm a completely new person.
Yeah, and so that, I guess, on the days that you don't want to turn up, that's helping you stay inspired, knowing that, you could easily go back to that person, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think I've said it to a lot of people, but I guess anyone that's listening to this podcast, and I know that Bec can vouch for this on today's episode, is that I always say quitting's the easiest thing to do. Like, so you could easily quit, and go back to,
I could have done it multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy.
And that would have been the easy thing. It's like, continuing to grow. I think people don't, see it as being challenging. But it also doesn't have to be hard. Like, you learn to love that journey.
Yeah.
And what tips would you give to someone who hits their goal and suddenly feels empty or directionless? Because that's the biggest thing, right? Like, constantly either moving the goalpost and never achieving their goals, or hitting their goal and then feeling that you felt. Like, what tips would you give someone?
We've got to think about, if you're not moving them goalposts, have you set the bar too high? Do you need to bring that goal a little bit further back? Do you need to set it a little bit smaller? Do I only need to build like 10 kilos of weight on my deadlift, like instead of doing 50? Do I need to cut it back to get them goals that I want, to make it a bigger goal?
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah. So like, so to anyone that, suddenly hits their goal or feels like they're moving the goalpost, like, what advice would you give them if they had that feeling of, yep, I've done that, now what?
Stick with it. Don't give up, basically. Just keep driving to get that goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't take that backward step.
And then if they hit that goal and felt empty, what advice would you give them?
Do you need to change your goal?
Yeah.
Can you think about it in a different way?
Yeah.
As well.
Yes, it's kind of like what we did. It's like, okay, well, we've done that one now. Let's look at, High Rocks is the next, what's going to benefit for that. This one, So breaking it down and kind of going, it's good to have big goals, but break them down to littler ones.
Yeah. So
you don't feel so directionless.
Yeah.
And how do you celebrate your success without letting it define you? So obviously, like, the scuba diving, that was a huge one, and it should be celebrated, right? But the little wins that you do each week, how do you celebrate that success?
So to me, thinking scuba diving was amazing, but celebrating small little wins, it's just as good in the journey. Like actually losing that amount of weight in the first place to even be able to get in the water to start with was a big goal for me.
Yeah, that's huge. And like the little things that, you set yourself each week, do you, necessarily do anything to celebrate those ones each week, or?
No, not really, to be honest. No. Yeah.
And just before we wrap up today's episode, is there anything that you think that people listening today would benefit from in terms of what goes beyond the goal, what happens after you win, which is where today's episode is going? Is there anything else that you think that people would benefit from? Because as I said, I feel like anyone listening today has either hit that goal and reverted back to their old self, which I've seen multiple times, or I feel like a lot of people never actually get that goal. Either they've set it to an unrealistic expectation, or they get close and go, oh, I'll just move it more. So, if it's weight loss, they'll kind of go, I'll just try and lose 5 kilos. They get close to the 5 kilos and they go, oh, I might as well make it 10. But they haven't even made the 5.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to anybody?
So actually, like going home from that day, actually sitting down, like when I was at home and actually realizing, it actually sunk in then. Like I've actually done this day. Like, but I think what helped me more was booking it in like 6 weeks, like in advance, and actually going, yep, we're doing this. Like actually having that date, then having it set in as well, made it so much easier to achieve that goal as well. But if anyone is stuck, just stick with it. Don't give up. Don't quit. Because then basically, like, you don't want to give up pretty much. Yeah.
And I said that before in the, quitting is the easiest part. And I know at the time, like as I said, through your last 18 months, I know there's probably been 3 times that I can recall where I'd gotten an email, that's it. And I'm like, it's not it, Bec. Like, it's not it. Just take a minute. It's normal. Like, what you're going through is normal. And I remember having that conversation a couple of times with you, is that walking away right now is going to be easy. What you're going through isn't. But when you get to the other side, it's going to help develop you into who you are.
Yeah.
So
even the last 18 months, I haven't had that moment.
Yeah.
Like even like in the first 12 months, I had plenty of them.
Yeah.
Like, and
100%.
Ash is basically like, just shut up, like get your ass into the gym.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And it does pass. It does pass. So I guess that's a wrap for today's episode. So thank you so much, Bec, for talking about that, because I think this is something that people do need to hear. This is the other side, right? A lot of people talk about their wins on our podcast, and I guess, you know, what happens next. And if anyone's listening or listened to my podcast, I have done a podcast on I'll Be Happy When, which is very, I guess, relates to this sort of a lot, is that constantly moving that bar and being on that treadmill of going, I'll be happy when I get to, rather than, you know, realizing that be happy in the now, learn to enjoy the journey, and everything else will fall into place. And as Bec just said then, in terms of, you know, her advice is also set a date, book something in, give yourself no other option, because quitting is the easiest one you can ever take. So that's a wrap for today's episode of Real Talk Fitness with ANPT. Bec's story is just a reminder that real growth doesn't stop when you hit the goal. It starts when you realize who you have become along the way. And if you ever felt that post-goal slump, remember, success isn't a finish line, it's a checkpoint. So each time you set these goals out, it's like you've just hit another checkpoint. Celebrate it, reflect on it, and then choose your next chapter with purpose. And if you loved today's conversation, hit subscribe or share it with someone who needs to hear it. Keep lifting, keep moving, and most importantly, keep it real.